Well, I think initially the draw was Guy Ritchie. I wanted to make a movie with Guy for a long time, and we've known each other for 15 years or so. And when he came to me, I thought, oh, this is interesting. I knew the idea. I knew what sort of the one-sentence pitch was. And I thought, an expat, no, not an expat, but a British man doing a story about an American soldier in that world was very interesting to me. It's the right kind of perspective. And then when I heard that he kind of wanted to tell the story about a begrudging friendship, two people that were kind of in an arranged marriage of sorts and didn't really like each other that much, but ended up saving each other's lives, I was so moved, because to me it's not about the cultures that these men come from, it's about the fact that they have a shared humanity. And Guy wanted to tell that story without sentimentality, in that Guy Ritchie way, and I was in. It's all about that, what people would say is the unspoken bond, but in this case it really is unspoken. It's about the action of doing good, or just doing, frankly. I think we tend to put a lot of onus and weight on the idea of good, and so in a lot of ways that makes us kind of paralyzed in the idea of what it is and how do we do it, or it's over-sentimentalized. And in this, it's just about doing. That someone does something for someone else, and then they can't really be alive unless they go back and do the same thing back, right? And we have an ethos of no one left behind. And this movie is about the bond that they make that makes that possible, to say, I'm not going to leave that person behind. And yes, I think there are all the people around them. His wife, my character's wife, Dar's character's wife, their families, their friends, the communities around them. All of those people are tied to that connection. And it's you can only see it when you see the movie, but that's what it's about.
It is a very intense, thrilling film. As you'd expect, Guy Ritchie makes renowned movies that are very exhilarating. It's a thrilling and exciting film. And yeah, there's also a lot of depth to it, and friendship and love and conflict, and but also some real thrills in there, Guy Ritchie style. Jake's really nice. He's very supportive and always has great ideas. And the two of them together are quite playful. Playful and spontaneous and creative. And the most challenging part is the last-minute rewrites, because it's like sometimes a memory test. But yeah, that was challenging. But it's nice because he's very relaxed and he's patient and supportive, and so that makes it feel more like a fun, creative atmosphere where you can play around and give it a go and stuff. So
this is a little departure for him in a way, because it goes into something that's very relevant, with the withdrawal from Afghanistan. It's like he had a crystal ball to get the timing was incredible. Times are strange. Times are very strange, and it's not easy now. The lines are blurred more than ever. It's not always easy to see what the right thing is, and I think this is unambiguous about that. It really is. The characters are self-assured. They know what they need to do. They wrestle with it, but ultimately they attempt and do the right thing. And I think that resonates, for me at least, and I think it will with other people as well. I believe that the timing is perfect for a film like this to come out. I think people are really going to glom onto it because of that humanity. The most challenging part is keeping up with Guy's lines as he writes them as you're speaking. It really was. Honestly, it was. This is going to sound terribly actor-y, cliche, but the challenge was joyful. I hate myself for saying that, but it really was. Everything everything about the film that was challenging, that was difficult to do, made it more enjoyable to be a part of.
There's a part where Jake and I are going up these stairs that are super steep, and I'm like, I have to be clearing up while I'm stepping on these stairs, right? And we walk through a bridge, and mind you, all the stunt guys did it, and me, all right? It was me and the stunt guys. I was like, no, I'm good with this. I can do this. Because I like doing my own stunts. It's fun. And so that was challenging. It was fun. But other than that, no, it was... And the good part was, honestly, in so many ways, working with Guy, it feels so nice to be part of Guy's crew, right? Because he takes care of his people. And he's so lovable. He's such a beautiful man. He really is. But the best part about it, the woman who dressed me tonight in this beautiful suit is my wife, who is a costume designer on the film, Lulu Bonton. So that was the best part. When you're in the military, I don't know, I've never been in it, but I can only assume whatever military you are in the world, you are protecting your country's values, morals, and it's to free your people. I think it's important to realize that just because your people are American, there are people in other countries that are not American, but you should free them too, and you should protect them too. I think at the core of it all, we are all just human beings. We all want love, we all want happiness, we all want security, family. We all want the same things. I've been traveling around the world, and the same thing is that. We just want to be safe and have love. So I think it's important when these military personnel, which thank you for what you do. My dad was in the Army. I lived in Germany for 3 years when I was a kid. I'm a military brat, born in Fort Stewart, Georgia. When you're going away, consider other people, no matter what they believe, because we all just want the same thing. The reason why we had bonds is because Kawa Malawi and Dan Schmidt, they were the military advisors brought onto the film. And I'm just going to pat my own back here. I brought him on because Dan Schmidt was a buddy of mine, and we smoked cigars in LA together. And my wife is a costume designer, and she was like, how would this work? How would that work? And I said, you should call Dan. Fast forward, becomes a military advisor for the whole film, brings on Kawa. Those guys told us what it meant to be Special Forces soldiers. You got each other's back. You can die at any moment. You got to be on point. You got to trust this guy, that guy, this, everybody to your right, left, center, front, So you get the bond there, right? You learn that that's a bond.
I mean, listen, this movie is for them. It's both Jake and I are like that. When we play something, it's mostly it's a very limited audience that are our hardest judges and critics, and we want to do right by them. We want them to be able to recognize themselves and their experience in that. Because look, I know not all interpreters carried their soldier for 3 weeks, or not all soldiers had to mortgage their house and go back because they just weren't able to. But all interpreters did put their lives at stake every day on the ground. All American soldiers did put their lives at stake every day on the ground, trying to do the right thing. And from the bottom of my heart, I hope that they can recognize that in this movie. If they can do that, then I'm happy. They had me at hello. I mean, it's I can't lie. It's Guy Ritchie. He's one of the world's best filmmakers. And Jake Gyllenhaal, arguably one of our generation's best actors. So they had me at hello. But then on top of that, I must say that, from the bottom of my heart, I'm so proud to be part of this project, because beside it being like this big banger of an action movie that just keeps you entertained and keeps you like on the edge of the seat from start to finish, it has this beautiful message, man. In these times of so much noise and everybody's telling us about all the things that divide us, you have these two men from very different cultures. They don't even like each other to begin with. We all can relate to that, But as the story unfolds, you realize that there's just so much more that unite us in life as human beings of this planet, that all of us. I brought my son today because otherwise I wouldn't be able to enjoy this moment, All we want to do is we want to provide our children with the opportunities that we didn't have ourselves. We want to be able to have a safe space to love our families and the people around us, and that's the essence of being human. And America is like, as a foreigner, America's always been this cultural and his light of beacon and light of hope. And Jake usually says it's like a country of reluctant heroes, which I think is true. And I think in these times of a lot of noise, we tend to forget that. So I love this message of unity and a reminder of just that most of us just want to do good. We just forget, It's a bond it's mostly based on necessity to start with. They're stuck together. It's an arranged marriage, but they also respect each other. They both can understand and feel that the other guy knows what he's doing. Once then they are stuck in this situation of life and death, you see them making the right choices, and that's how the bond develops. But I love it's very unsentimental. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna do good and I'm gonna show you that I'm a good person, or I really like you because you know. It's none of that. It's goodness through action, which is how we work as human beings. That's how we are. We don't laugh on purpose or cry on purpose. It happens to us. Our emotions come through the cracks despite of ourselves, and that's how their relationship is. It's hard to say what was most challenging. I just enjoyed it because I love the physical stuff. You know, I think that's kind of a cheat code. We pretend it's hard, but the harder it is physically, it kind of makes the acting easier. So I think maybe the most challenging part was the first week, adjusting to the set and adjusting to Guy's way of working. But once you found out how that works, it kind of became one of the best experiences I've ever had creatively.
The challenge is just being prepared for anything. I feel like we turned up on the day not knowing what we was going to get given. So every line that you saw any of us say in the film got given just before we shot it. So it was about not allowing yourself to feel under pressure and just feeling confident. And I feel like Jake and Guy helped us feel so confident and not feel pressured that hopefully it came out the way we want it to. I feel like a lot of our generation now are very for themselves, and I feel like it's a story that needs to be told for all of us to just step back and be like, an act of kindness can go a long way instead of just being selfish and worrying about yourself. So my message would just be, help someone out. There's no harm in it. Manners cost nothing. So yeah. Yes, I've only known one of them from before filming. But where they're all such beautiful humans, we got onto set and all of us just gelled. And I feel like Kawa, the military advisor, helped us with that because he was like, within this sort of section, it's all about brotherhood. This sort of thing is like, you would die for your fellow member, you would do anything for us. I feel like we embodied that, went out for a lot of meals, had a few nights out of each other just to get to know each other better. But yeah, I feel like we came together in a nice way, so hopefully it comes across on screen. But I feel like his difference is what makes his work so special. And me now being a fan of his stuff from years ago, I now understand why they're such classics, because he shoots differently, he approaches things differently, and he also gives you like a sense of freedom to just be like, have fun, bring it to life and be yourself. So it's a blessing to work with him again, and hopefully we can create more work. The story that he's telling, I'm excited because a lot of people, I think, when they first heard about it, thought it was just going to be your typical war film, Americans going against this, but it's showcasing something completely different. So I'm looking forward to the audience reaction to seeing something new and exciting and action-packed. So yeah, I'm excited.
It's always, if you've never been on a Guy Ritchie set, it's always hard because you get the script and you get the objective at the top of the scene, but the words will always change. When I did The Gentleman, Wrath of Man, I know not to learn my lines. I rock up, know my character, and then he'll give you the lines. He'll literally feed you the lines in between. So for me, like, the objective is always very clear. He knows what he wants. But how we get there is really different, and it changes each time. So the dialogue was natural, but you had to be on point, especially because I was doing an American accent, hopefully. Okay. So yeah, I had to make sure I was on point with that. And we had some help. Actually, there was a moment where all of us were struggling with a word, and Jake was like coming over to help us. He was like, became our voice coach, so it was lovely as well to have that. Jake says that he has a hook in him, and it's driving him crazy because, the service, the men and women who serve this country, our country, your country, they have a huge burden on them to make sure that they do the right thing. They're there to help and give us this freedom that we have. So for me, the main aspect of the covenant, coming back to your question, is a promise. I know it's not the official version, but when I heard the word, I was like, oh, covenant, it's about promise, about redemption, and that's the main thing for me. They're my mates still. We have a WhatsApp crew. Do you want me to show you what we talk about in our No, but we're really good friends. And we spend every evening having dinner. We had drinks, we went out. I haven't seen them yet, so I'm super excited. There's Christian there, so I'm going to go invade him in a second. No, it was really strong, and we want to make sure that naturally came together, just offset. Whilst we're sitting around, actually there was a moment where we'll talk about mental health and our families and the effects that soldiers might have. And then hopefully that transcends on camera as well. And with Jake as well, he was great. And Dar, we all just sat around. It was like at lunchtime, so we all sat around and ate together. And Guy was there cooking his barbecue, making us food. So that was also fun. It was a great camaraderie we naturally all had. Was running up that hill. Guy made me run up a 60-foot hill 7 times and run back down, and it was really high, and I didn't realize that was happening. And somewhere on camera is me going, walking down. It's like, come on, Jace, walk down faster. We're still rolling, and I'm just like hovering down, trying not to roll my ankle. That was probably the most memorable moment for me. So that was tough.